Hey, yeah, what's up? This Disciple Marshall Kearns Rain back up in this. So, we're going to talk about Russia and slavery in Russia. Because one thing I thought about, this is what provokes the video or the thought of the video is Russia never enslaved black people. Russia's never really been racist towards Africans. Yeah. I've seen some stuff online, but that can't compare to a whole racist culture that we have to live with in this country right here. We have to sleep among bona fide racist people that's at work. I'm not talking about hitting below the belt when people are mad at each other. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about people that's working right now for your demise. I mean, they're out there. They're out there. Just like you have crazy people doing these things, you have racist people doing those things. That part. Yeah. While they out there playing games, you got racist people that's at work that you should be stopping in this country. But anyway, let me get to slavery in Russia, which, like I said, Russia did not enslave Africans. Let's first understand that. While everybody's bashing Russia, saying Russia is this bad country, they always was, they always will be. One thing's for sure, they never enslaved black people. Russia never did that. And Russia does not have a substantial culture of racism against black people. Looks like a place to stay to me. Hey, I'm just being 100. Some people feelings may get hurt. But I just don't see how you can be a patriot of this country right now. I just don't. You know, because it's all about communication, If people can't, as far as I go in my life go, if people can't do things this way, I have to decline from any alliance or operations because their way wasn't working. Okay? They didn't even know about 40 states with the age of consent under 18, 44 states married children. And all of a sudden, they got a master plan. You got a master plan all of a sudden. So that's just my take on my personal situation, and for that, Russia never enslaved any black people. And that's what I'm saying. So I'm gonna get into it. They did, however, enslave an indigenous people in Siberia, Russia. They enslaved the Yakuts and the Buryats, and they look like people of Asian descent. And Russia abolished slavery in the 1720s. The closest thing they had to a genocide, I looked that up too, in Russia was the Holodomor. The Holodomor, it was 10 million people were killed in all from 1932 to 1933. So the Holodomor was the closest thing that Russia had to a genocide, comparable to or comparing what America did to the Native Americans. So that's the closest thing I saw was the Holodomor. And like I said, 10 million people were killed in all, and it was from starvation. They died from starvation. They was intentionally starved. And that lasted for a year, 1932 to 1933. Now, this is a quote I wrote myself. Russia, I believe, did not practice slavery with torture and violence like America. Russia did not ever have a gigantic culture of racism like America. They didn't have a gigantic culture of racism. America, compared to anywhere else in the world, specifically with African Americans, they have the most gigantic culture of racism. Not thoughts. Not thoughts. They have a gigantic culture of racism right here in America. Russia, you don't see no gigantic culture of racism towards black people. It's unheard of. I'm just trying to show you because they're trying to tell you that America is better than Russia. Okay, now this is what we do know about. Now we're going to go to what America did. You got 55 million Native Americans that were killed by violence and disease in America. Again, I'm going to say that again. 55 million Native Americans killed by disease and violence in America. 55 million. With the Holodomor in Russia, it was only 10 million. So you do the math on that. 5.5 times more, 5.5 times more were Native Americans killed than the people that were killed in the Holodomor. 5.5 times more. 55 million Native Americans killed by Americans, either from the violence they brought the settlers from Europe, either the violence or the disease that they brought over here. By 1880, the year 1880, 6,580,793 African American slaves were in America. So the year 1880, there was a little over 6.5 million slaves here. Not to mention, in the same year in 1880, you also had the age of consent in the state of Delaware at 7 years old, which is the world record currently for the lowest age of consent worldwide. So in 1880, when they had 6.5 million slaves, they were having sex with 7-year-old girls while they had slaves here. Boy, this gets me hot. This gets me tight. I mean, really, man. In the middle of having slaves, they got the age of consent at 7 years old. 7-year-old, and you got these street punks out here playing like it's a game. Got real problems in this country. You street punks to me. That's what I call you. You ain't no thug. You a street punk. If you playing games and you are about foolishness, you are a street punk. You know what happens to street punks? They get jacked up by bigger predators. And and the police. That's what happened to street punks. All right. So, like I said, in the year 1880, here in America, the African American, there was 6,580,000, 6,580,793 African American slaves were in America in the year 1880. Like I said, that same year, the age of consent for sex was at 7 years old, meaning they were having sex with 7-year-old girls in the state of Delaware in 1880. Yeah. America didn't stop their slavery until basically 100 years after Russia. We're comparing histories here. Russia stopped slavery 100 plus years before America did. Russia abolished slavery in 1723, exactly, I think. In America, stopped slavery 1865. A little over a year. 145 years later. No, 143 years later. 2 years later. 142 years later. Okay? 142 years later, that's how long it took for America to follow suit with what Russia did. So see, I don't see how you can say Russia is worse than America. They don't have they don't have anything substantial towards people like me, black people. They don't have no problem with me. But yet America does. You got a problem with black people. Black people sellouts, eavesdropping on people like I don't know. See, people like that wind up dying. It's just a matter of time. I'm too smart and too ahead for people like that. See about eavesdropping on the sidewalk. Crazy. Like I don't know. Boom. So, it's just to me not comparable. Russia for the black man or America for the black man. It's not comparable. Which one is worse for the black man? America is to me 200% worse for black people than America. They don't have any substantial culture of racism. Not towards black people. In the slavery, I think they didn't talk about any whippings and burnings and hangings and nothing like that. Just labor, just slave labor is what I read up on. But yet here in America, slaves were whipped, burned, and worse. Raped. I just seen for the first time, I had never heard the story of the 15-year-old boy who was raped by a lynch mob. And the mother was raped too, trying to stop it. Right here in America. They raped a 15-year-old boy, black African boy, not a man, and raped the mother, killed them both. In my personal opinion, America is not good over Russia. In fact, the last two presidents have not been the greatest leaders in the world. And I'm not saying that in a kind of a jokey cliche type of way. Literally, Donald Trump was not the best president in the world. Can we all agree on that? Donald Trump was not the best president. So at the time of him being, this is why you got all this going on. See, you already fell from greatness. And the ironic thing is, he talking about make America great again. Well, you just, sir, being in office made it not the greatest, not number one. Before you, there was Obama, and I would say probably in his administration, America was number one. So ironically, he comes into office talking about make America great. He comes into the White House talking about making America great again. But we all can agree, most of us, that Donald Trump was not the greatest world leader at the time of his presidency. So that means whoever's next in line, right or wrong. If Donald Trump was not the greatest leader in the world at the time when he had his administration, through all that stuff that everybody was complaining about, all the controversy, then whoever else was runner up became number one. Now you can go throughout the world and split hairs, but I'm also talking about superpower, all of those things included. Greatest, they have to be up there with the superpowers as far as military, economy, all of that. And really, since Donald Trump was in office, Putin was number one. So who was the best leader, Putin or Donald Trump? I'm talking about overall professionalism, everything. You telling me that Donald Trump was a better leader? I ain't talking about your military attached in this case. Comparing militaries, I'm talking about, because you're only as great as your leader. Because your leader can make you unsuccessful. Your leader can bring you into wars. Your leader can bring about all types of failure. Your country is only as great as the leader. So America was not great with Donald Trump in office. We were as great as Donald Trump is. I'm gonna say that again. We were as great as Donald Trump was. So however great he was, however you want to calculate that up, that's how great this country was. Boom. So what does that tell you? That someone else was the greatest country by their leader. I should have did a video about this. I think I did in so many words. Like I think I said something in a video about this, but Donald Trump ceased America from being the greatest superpower. Y'all lost. You lost, America. You lost when you put him in office. So That bumped Putin up to being number one. Putin became number one. Anybody feel like Putin was not a better leader than Donald Trump? Is not a better leader than Donald Trump. At the time when Donald Trump was in his presidency, or whatever you want to say, call it, you don't think Putin was a better leader? Come on, man. I think every country has its faults, and it's convenient for America to sit up because it's such a rivalry between the two. It's easy for America to sit up and try to assassinate. They attempt to, but they don't successfully do it. They attempt to try to assassinate the character of the Russian nation. So I personally believe Russia has been the best leader since President Barack Obama has got out of office. So the whole time Donald Trump was in office, Russia was the best. Right or wrong? You're only as great as your leader. You're only as great as your leader. So you're telling me Donald Trump was the greatest leader in the whole world? You can't be serious. That bushwhack person of him, that bushwhack guy, bushwhack means unsophisticated, by the way. And you're bushwhack when you're talking reckless and crass all the time. You know, that's bushwhack, man. You know? And that's I personally, that I don't like bushwhack. Okay? Any some people do, some people don't. But I personally don't like. I like sophistication in people. Even if, no matter where you're from, you can be sophisticated. It's a choice. It's a choice. You can be sophisticated in thoughts, feelings. I like sophisticated people. I don't like unsophisticated people. And Donald Trump, that's what he is. So unsophisticated, and as he is, bushwhack as Donald Trump is, how was he the best world leader? He was not the best world leader. So that makes us not the best as a nation, because we're, like I said, you're only as great as your leader. If your leader sucks, you suck. Look what Joe Biden did. I told you. Lost 20 years of progress pulling the troops out from Afghanistan. Now the Taliban's back on top. Now you see why I say you're only great as your leader? You see that? The Taliban is back on top. Who knows, man? This is how people start getting conspiracy theories, man. When people are just too incompetent. Now you wonder if he did it on purpose. Taliban's back on top. It makes you wonder. Makes you wonder. So, for people that don't know and haven't been watching my videos, because I talk about it all the time, 9/11, all that stuff that went on, Joe Biden pulled the troops out prematurely, and all those troops were there as a response to what happened on 9/11. That's why when it comes election time, No one's going to have mercy because 9/11 was too significant of an attack for someone to come and destroy the response to it. He can't win. And that's what you got right now. And you just weathered Donald Trump, which we know he wasn't the best leader. No, he wasn't. We just weathered him. And now we're dealing with some guy that just lost all the efforts, all down the drain of the response for 9/11. That's all down the drain now. All those military servicemen that went over there trying to fight for what happened on 9/11, all of that's gone. That's what your present administration did. Hey, it ain't my fault. What, you mad at me because I'm pointing it out? You mad at me because I'm pointing it out. But I have purposes for pointing it out. Good purposes. To show you that you're not number one anymore, America. And you haven't been number one for the past 2 administrations. For the past 2 administrations, you haven't been number one. That means someone else has been. And to me, that would be Russia. That's why they're mad. Russia's on top. When you got somebody sending drone attacks and 7 children are killed over there in Afghanistan as well, that happened over there as well. They thought they found a hideout of some terrorists, wind up killing 7 kids in the process. How does a drone go out and do that? Right. Unless you send it on the wrong, you got to be so unprofessional to have a drone hit a target that you have not solidified as a target. And they killed 7 children, and they say they're supposed to be getting the money for these families, which we know money is not going to bring the children back, man. We know this. Seven children killed. And people over here always yapping about children. Where your military, not on a country field somewhere in Afghanistan, they killed 7 children by drone attack. Which a drone should be precise. When you send out a drone, it should be precise. You can't loosely send out a drone just hovering around killing 7 children. That's cartoonish, man. You're not paying attention. Oh, it would have been significant if it was 7 children here in America. If another country came over here and a drone killed 7 children from another country, you still be talking about it. Yeah, you would. Whatever happened with those families with the 7 children getting killed by a drone? You still be talking about it. What I've learned is also America does not put value on foreign life. Foreign life means little of anything. I base that on history. So that's why, with this Ukrainian war, I don't believe in the motives. At the beginning, Ukraine said that the West was panicking. Go look at the headlines. Look, don't take my word for it. Like reading Rainbow. Don't take my word for it. Don't take my word for it. Go Google. Ukraine says the West is panicking. Now, why would they panic? Why would you panic for someone else? Me personally, I have never seen a strong U.S. and Ukraine alliance. Have you ever heard them coming up? Not really. I've heard UK coming up all the time, but I have not heard of this strong and robust, you know, relationship between Ukraine. I'm just saying. And they accused, I think it was the leader, he accused the West of panicking. Interesting information. Why would he accuse them of panicking? And it ain't even their war. It's not even their people. It wasn't panic. It was, to me, it was desperation for for Joe Biden, President Joe Biden, to redeem himself from messing up 20 years of progress. They wanted to jump on that war. Hey, it makes sense to me. You messed up 20 years of progress in Afghanistan. You are desperate. It's like two birds with one stone. They already don't like Russia. They already don't. So you're taking care of that through all the Donald Trump administration, all that's been going on. I feel that America instigated the beginning of it. It kept revving up Russia. They better not do this. They better not do that. And at the end of the day, Putin is a man, not a robot, not an elf, and not an angel. He's a man. He kept instigating. I felt you instigated that.